All right. What we are going to be working on is the area and circumference of circles.
Can we do this? Oh, I can do that. Can we do it?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want to. It might come in handy on the test or someplace else, you know, because it is a piece of scratch paper that shows the figure. All right. Now, these two formulas are not given as theorems. The reason why not is because they would not be possible to prove except for with calculus. So you actually don't prove these theorems until you get to calculus. We do have to have them in the notes so you can have them to refer to. The area of a circle is pi times the radius squared. Remember, in a circle, the radius is a distance from the center to the edge. So, this is our radius. Area is pi times the radius squared. The circumference of the circle, you can actually have two different formulas. One of them is take 2 times pi times the radius, which is the same thing as 2 radii times pi. Now, if you remember in a circle, if you look at 2 radii, then you're working with the diameter of the circle. That is equal to 2 radii. The formula for circumference of a circle then can also be pi times the diameter. Now, most of the time when we're working with these formulas, we will leave our answers in terms of pi. What that means is if they want us to find the area of a circle with a radius of 4, then we will be finding our two formulas. Area equals pi times r squared, and our area is going to be equal to pi times 4 squared, which is 16 pi. 4 squared is 16. We write that as 16 pi, and we leave our answer like that. Now, if they had told us a unit, such as radius is 4 centimeters, then we are finding area, and it's going to be in square centimeters. So we would write 16 pi square centimeters, and that's cm with a little exponent of 2. Your circumference, on the other hand, is a linear measurement of the distance around. So the circumference is going to be 2 times pi times 4, which is equal to, you take the 2 times the 4 and you leave the pi. 8 pi centimeters. Most of the time, like I said, we will leave our answers in terms of pi. Now, the question you might have, and you might not be asking it, but if you were actually thinking about what's happening here, you might have the question, why pi? Why 3.14? It does rhyme. Why 3.14? Exactly. If I could have something that measures the diameter of this circle, such as a play or something like that, I could have it nice this circle, and then wrap it around the circle. It's too cold, so it's kind of tough to. Yes, Branson.
Where's that?
We are on page
444.
446.
Should I write it down?
Yeah, you
That's
should.
good to have. I can't see.
Okay. So taking my modeling plate, rolling it out, I'm going to make it the length of the diameter.
I'm making the length of this.
So the length of the diameter
Yes.
would be that long. Now, the question is, why pi?
Pi.
Why do we take, to find the circumference, why do we take pi times the diameter? Because it happens to be, for every circle, the number of times that the diameter, by the way, the diameter wrapped to right there, and then I wrap it around again, and I get a point that is right here, and I wrap it around again, and I get a point that is right here. So I started here, I got 1, 2, 3 diameters plus this little gap. No matter what size your circle is, the diameter will always wrap around the circle 3 times plus that little gap, which is about 1/10 of your diameter, or 1/8, or you can get a fraction that gets closer and closer to 0.141592, which is the fraction of the diameter that's left.
Diameter. Around 3 times.
Plus a little bit, which is that 0.141592, 3.14. That's what pi is. Okay? So now, coming back here, we can represent the number pi in a few ways. And sometimes they'll ask you to use 3.14 to represent pi. Pi is approximately 3.14 because that's what happens when you round to the nearest hundredths. No, it actually is 3 times the, it's 3.14 times the diameter, because you have to take the diameter times that 0.14 as well. So it's 3 times the diameter plus 0.14 times the diameter. Because it's that fraction of the diameter. What's that? This amount that's left right here is 0.141592 times the length of the diameter. So it's 3 times the length because there are 1, 2, 3 diameters. And then 0.1415 times the diameter is the length that's left over. Okay. Now, sometimes, usually they'll say leave answers in terms of pi. That's the usual. Sometimes they'll say use pi approximately 3.14. As soon as you start using 3.14, you don't have exact answers anymore. You're rounding. And it's okay to do as long as you don't need super accuracy. Okay? So sometimes they'll say use pi equals approximately 3.14. And sometimes they'll say use pi equals approximately 22 sevenths. What is 22 sevenths when you use your calculator and divide?
What? Percent.
Sometimes it says use 22 sevenths. And the question is, what is 22 sevenths when you divide? 3.1428. Isn't that really close to pi as well?
But that's not really close.
Fact is, 3.1428 is just as close to pi as 3.14 is. It's just on the other side of it. Because pi is actually 3.141592653589. right? So this is just as close to pi as 3.14 is close to pi. Both of them are kind of rounded, right? Both of them are correct to the nearest hundredths position. Okay, thank you.
Can we burn like either that or that on fire?
No, I'm just glad that this actually has a last number that they can see, and so then they stop.
Hey, how long is that? How long is that?
It never ends, Dustin.
It goes on forever.
Well,
How do they know that? How do they calculate that?
It's not.
They have different algorithms. They run their computers through to calculate the next digit, and then the next digit, and then the next digit. They couldn't ever figure that out.
People
Okay.
with younger.
How do we know?
All right.